Hey folks, how are you? The new year's finally here, so you want to be able to put some skin in the game somewhere, right? Because you are a bit passionate about your endeavors, you're a bit passionate about the sports you follow, or maybe even the teams that you also follow. So why not do so over at the number one site for betting and trying to be able to earn some cash. Hey, you never know what's going to happen, right? Luck is always a very fickle one when it comes to the world of sports. So why not go to One Win? That's the one place where you'll be able to enjoy the best offers, the best propositions. So make sure you go through with your promises and we'll see where things end up playing out. One thing I do recommend for you is the crucial match between Torino and Napoli. So make sure you go to One Win because that is the place for you to be able to go and bet safely, bet legitimately, bet in a manner that you will be able to have the best propositions, and why not? Maybe win some money in the process. I hope you do. And if you do, don't forget about us little people. Make sure you go to One Win, where I also am offering you a promo code, OneWin24. You can go there, and of course, each time there's a different promotion. We'll talk about it every single time throughout the year. OneWin24. Remember to register over at One Win using the link that I have in the description below. Big win for Barcelona as they defeated Las Palmas 2-1. Of course, the match was going on while I was on Sportsmax. And the first half was all Las Palmas, a very well planned strategy by Garcia Pimienta in his establishment, his elaboration of everything there. Look, Barcelona, I think it was in the 23rd or 26th, something like that, that they were able to get their first shot, period, in this entire match. So it really showed how limited Barcelona were when it came to how Las Palmas were defending themselves. Of course, as a side note, you start looking at how this Barcelona side really struggled to get things going. It wasn't until they were under a great deal of duress that things started going their way. And I say duress, of course, in a very loose manner. A team that had a lot of struggles throughout, like I said, the first half. Las Palmas had one or two opportunities, I think, outside of the goal by Munir, then the shot by Sandro that ends up hitting the post, ends up being one that later on Barcelona's like, oh, thank goodness that it didn't go through. The second half ended up being a different story because Barcelona were able to kind of get into their own. Like I said, under duress, under pressure, they were able to settle down and start creating opportunities. Although it did come very late, the equalizer. It was actually not very late, the equalizer. I'm talking about the game winner. But the equalizer really didn't take that long to score. It was, of course, a great shot by Ferran Torres that he ends up finding the rebound. And Barcelona were kind of back on track. Although I say back on track, but they weren't able to create off of crosses the way that they would have liked. That was a big problem for them, and you didn't see that elaboration. It's a team that still is kind of finding its way. Now, I say that, and at the same time, with this win, they end up in third place on goal differential over Athletic Club. They're able to surpass Atletico Madrid. So I'm saying all this knowing what has happened, but we start seeing some of the bits of form that Barcelona have, and there's still struggles. There's still times when they aren't able to really get into full stride. But when they're able to create opportunities, it's just time after time after time after time that they end up getting into that final third, sending a ball into the area, but they just weren't able to catch it. This year, I hate using this statistic, but it's something that's very indicative of what's going on. And if you notice the amount of goals that are being scored and the opportunities that are being created, this year, I think that their XG in terms of that ends up being a -7. Now, like I said, I hate using these numbers, but I have to use numbers and also give context in order to justify these numbers being used. Barcelona haven't been that sniper, killer instinct, clinical type of team this year, and we've seen it when it comes to the offensive end. All this being said, they've been very opportune. as I mentioned before, Ferran Torres being able to get the equalizer, and then the penalty, which was a penalty. I know that many people for Real Madrid are going to say, "Oh, another ball, another goal that was given to Barcelona." Yeah, but then it was a push on Ilkay Gundogan. He ends up getting pushed in Graven, ends up getting sent off, and of course, it's very difficult to not say that it wasn't a penalty. And of course, Gundogan being able to score made it 2-1. And a lot of credit to Las Palmas for coming out and making it such a difficult match. But they ran out of legs in the second half. They just simply did. Their blocks ended up getting lower and lower. They ended up dropping back further and further, giving Barcelona more and more space to elaborate play, not only in the midfield, but also out wide. You started to see certain individuals for Barcelona that I talked a lot about, some that haven't been quite up to snuff yet, but there's some that are promising. Victor Roque comes in. He misses a clear, concise shot and he ends up just hooking wide in the last minute. Didn't have a lot of playing time, but gives a lot of sensations that he wants to be able to contribute and contribute immediately, the former Atlético Paranaense man. Lewandowski, maybe this wasn't the match for him. Things started changing as soon as he left. João Felix, at times, seemed, of course, if you think the goal, I have to see again. João Felix is the one that takes the shot. The goalkeeper makes a save. It bounces or it deflects over to the opposite side of the goal, and of course Gundogan's there to head the ball in, but of course he gets knocked into the goal or out or just knocked over. Period. So that ends up being the difference. But overall, it's a big win for Barcelona, a huge win for Barcelona. As of course talking more La Liga, talking more things that are going to be going on in Spanish football. It's going to get interesting for the second half of the year because there's a lot of narratives that we have to delve into to talk about more, to decide what's going to be and what's not going to be in the second half of this 2023-24 season. As now Real Madrid and Girona, they're all by their lonesome in the top of the Liga. Not only that, they end up being a very formidable force, or formidable forces, going into the second half of the year. Of course, now we take the pause. It's Copa del Rey this weekend, and then, of course, the Spanish Super Cup. We'll probably delve into that a little bit in the coming days, as Barcelona will face Osasuna over in Saudi Arabia, and of course, they'll find out who they end up playing in the final if they do get that far. So, guys, make sure subscribe, like, you know the drill. Talk to you soon. Ciao.